Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Albert. So today I'm going to show you how to do ServiceNow SAML authentication using Okta. It's a very easy step to do. So I'm going to take my time and then show you how that is done. So, all right, let me quickly set up my camera and then get this thing off for the meantime. All right. I think that this is okay. All right. So right now I'm inside my Okta dashboard. So if you are going to set up, a ServiceNow SAML authentication using Okta, the first thing is that you the person, or you the Okta administrator or Okta engineer or the IM engineer should have an admin permissions in Okta before you can do the integration. So right now, I'll not waste your time. I'll just go ahead and then show you how that is done. So the first thing is that you will log in into Okta as an administrator or a super administrator. So one advice. Okay, I know that somebody might be asking me that how can you get access to this, to the Okta tool or to the Okta platform. Well, currently I have set up this Okta tool or Okta platform as my lab, and this is where I do my trainings, my Okta trainings with other people. So you can just go to okta.com and then you just sign up with them. It's free. You are not going to pay anything. It's free. So what happens is that you go to www.okta.com and then you sign up. They're going to ask you some few questions. It will not take even 20 minutes or 15 minutes. I think it's just 5 minutes for you to set it up, and then yes, you are good to go. And then they're going to send you the link that you're going to use it to set up your password and everything in your email. So it's a very easy step to take, and it doesn't cost you anything. They're not going to request you a request for your credit card or your debit card, anything like that. No, it's very easy. So yeah, so this is, and this is a trial version. So as you look at the top here, I have 28 days left, and then they will just take it off. Yeah. But I set it up just to train people on how to do integrations with Okta, and also people who are not familiar with the Okta platform. I just train them on how to use the Okta platform. Yeah. So a little background about me. I am a certified Okta professional. I also have certification in Okta Advanced Security and also Okta Customer Identity. I'm also a certified AWS practitioner and also a Microsoft 365 security administrator. So that's just a little background about me. Let me just go straight up and then show you how this thing is done. Okay, so now here is the dashboard. So the first thing that I want you to know, because okay, so first of all, I am logging as Irene. So this is my account, Irene. The first thing you need to do is that you need to go to applications, and then go and look for the ServiceNow that you want to use. So here is the application. So you can create app integration from scratch, or you can browse from the app catalog. It depends on whatever you want to do. But Okta has done 7,000 in application 7,000 app integration. So there's no need for you going to start from scratch. So we just go straight to app catalog, and then yeah, we will search for ServiceNow. So we search for ServiceNow, and this is it. So we click on ServiceNow. So just a little background about this. So here is creation. Right. So inside here is going to be inside here, this is where you're supposed to ask your base URL if you are using the base URL, and Okta has given you an example about example of how you are supposed to put in the base URL. But if you're going to do the SWA secure web authentication, then you are going to use this is they've also shown you an example of what you're supposed to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight up to my ServiceNow. So I've already created an account with ServiceNow, and also this is a trial account with ServiceNow. It's not a full integration. Because of this video that I decided to create an account with ServiceNow. So it's just a trial thing that I'm doing. So currently I'm logging into my my ServiceNow. The next thing I'm going to do is because now here is requiring for the base URL. So I'll go to my ServiceNow and I'll try and come to my account here. So now if I want to see if I want to see the base URL, what I can do is that I can click on manage instance password. And what it's going to do is that it's going to show me my base URL, my admin credentials, my username, and my password, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on start building. That is calling for an instance. It's like you are setting up an instance. So what it's going to do is that it's going to give me the URL at this top here. So you can see that the URL, the base URL is dev95446.servicenow.com. So I'll copy this, and then bring it to Okta and then paste it here. Right. So that is going to be the first thing. Just paste it here. Sorry about that. Okay. I'll face the camera well. So I'll just paste it here. Now, when you see something like this, if the next thing is to click on next, if I click on next, it's going to give an error, and this is what you're going to see. So it says that base URL does not match required pattern. So now the reason why there's an error is because when you look at here, it has given me an example, right? So here I need to take off the forward slash and then click on next. So now it will pick the URL. Perfect. So the next step is that I'm not going to use the secure web authentication. I'm going to use SAML authentication. So now, okay, let me stop this. Start recording. Okay, all right, I think it's still recording. All right, perfect. So now this is where we are. This is the SAML authentication. That is what I'm going to use to do the integration. So now when I get here, or when you get here, the next thing that you're going to do is to just hit on done. You don't do anything, you just hit done. All right, so now you got to wait. All right, so now we have in the ServiceNow UD application, you can see here, you see that the SAML 2.0 is enabled. So the next thing that we're going to do in order for this import new users is disabled, and this portion here, the push password, the push new users is disabled. This we are going to make sure that all these ones turn green so that it become active, right? So the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to go to provisioning, and then in here in provisioning, what we are going to do is to configure the API integration. So when we do this provisioning, when we do the API configuration, what is going to happen is that all this gray portion or this portion that you see here is going to be activated, right? So all this side is for Okta environment. All right. So the next thing is that we're going to click on configure API, and then we're going to enable API integration. So now it's asking for the admin username and then the admin password. Now what this is talking about is, you see that we already copied the base URL from the ServiceNow environment, right? So when you registered, not when you registered, but when you set up an instance, they are going to give you an admin, a username, and then also a password. So when I come to my my ServiceNow platform here, and I click on my profile. As you can see here, this is my profile. I can view the profile, but this is not where you find the username and then the password. The username and the password that you're looking for is that they are looking for the username. Well, it says that my session is expired, so they are looking for the username and the password to get to this dashboard. That is what Okta is looking for, and this is the instance. So this is an instance that is really running right currently. So what you're going to do is that, you see, as you can see, say that my instance status is online. So currently I'm online. So they are looking for the username and the password to get into the instance, because when you do the SSO integration, what happens is that it's not going to log you, or it's not going to sign you to come to this dashboard. It's going to sign you directly to come to this dashboard. So this is what they are looking for. So how do you get that? So getting the admin credentials, you need to come here, manage instance password. And like I was saying, because I don't want anybody to take my credentials, because immediately I click on here, it's going to show up my username and my password. So I'm not going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to duplicate this tab and then push this tab somewhere, because I'm going to get my password from on a different screen. So I'm using two screens. All right. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to open up. Okay. So like what I show you, when you click there, when you come here and then you click manage instance password, when you put it here, it is going to review the username and a password for you. All right. And let's see, let me open it here and then look at it. Manage instance password. Okay. All right, great. So now we go to TechBet, and then I'm going to type in your username. The username is admin, and then I'm going to paste my password in here. And then the next thing that you should do, never forget this, don't go ahead and save. You need to test the API credentials. It's very, very important that you do that, because if it fails, there's no way that you can continue the process. So you have to test the API credentials for it to be successful first before you go to the next step. All right. So test API credentials, and it failed. Yeah, it failed. So now I have to go back again, and then what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to try it again and see whether it's going to fail or not. So it failed. Paste again, and then let's try it again. Now you see that I didn't do anything to it. I just copied the password and then paste it back. I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. It just, sometimes these things, so that's how, like, sometimes it does something like that. All right, so the next thing is that you are going to do what we call the provisioning of the app. So here, as you can see, I'm provisioning the Okta to the ServiceNow. So you have to go and then edit this. So when you come to edit, you have to enable create users. And the next thing it says to say create or link a user in ServiceNow UD when assigning the app to a user in Okta. So like I was saying, if you don't enable this and you decide to create a user in Okta and you try to link the user to the ServiceNow app, it's not going to work. So you need to allow that. So that's why the provisioning is all part. So the next thing is that you have to also enable this and also enable this. Some people will not do the sync password, but let me read it to you. It says that create a ServiceNow UD password for each assigned user and pushes it to the ServiceNow UD. So if you create a password for the user here, you can then push it to the ServiceNow. But look at something here. So it says that sync a randomly generated password. No, you don't want this. You want to say sync Okta password, so that when the user, if the user has an Okta credential password, anything like that, and the person enters the password in Okta, it will just push the person directly to the ServiceNow dashboard or ServiceNow environment, so that the person does not need to enter the password again. That is the password that the person created in ServiceNow. But if you created a password in Okta and you are doing the single sign-on, it should immediately you sign in into Okta, it should take you directly into ServiceNow. So that is what this one means. So the next thing is that I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now the next step here is that we are going to go ahead and then we are going to map this attribute. So as you can see, the attribute, this is the attribute, the first name, last name, email, middle name, blah, blah, blah. It goes all the way down here to the manager. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to go to profile editor. So we're going to go to profile editor, and then we are going to map all these things, all these attributes. So mappings. All right, so the mapping here is we are mapping the ServiceNow onto Okta, right? So we are mapping all these attributes here to Okta, right? So we have the street, the phone number, mobile phone, city, state, all those kind of stuff. So we are mapping all these things to Okta, right? So the next, we are going to go in and say save mappings. Perfect. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to go back to the profile editor here. And then it's perfect. So now you see here, you see that it's active. You can go ahead and then deactivate it. And then here it says that the SAML 2.0 is enabled. We have import new users is enabled. So you can import users from the ServiceNow dashboard into Okta. We have push password update. We have here push new user is enabled, so you can enable push deactivation is also enabled. So what happens is that if you deactivate a user here on the ServiceNow, it should deactivate the user in the ServiceNow. So that is what basically what is all this talking about. So now we are here, we have to now go and then do the real job. So we are done with this integration, but that is half of the job. So we have to go to the next one. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to sign on. All right. So when we come here, sign on here, we are going to now do the integration in the ServiceNow. So we are done with the ServiceNow with the Okta integration. The next thing that we're going to do is to do the integration in ServiceNow. So we go to ServiceNow here. We are in the admin dashboard. And how you can get here is when you come here, you come to the main environment here. You set up an instance, so you can see start building. Immediately you click start building, it will take you to this admin console here. So the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to wait, let me also show you something. I think I forgot about something. When you come here, you also have a view SAML setup instruction. So you can click on the instructions and then you can see how you can configure the SAML 2.0. And I'm going to, I don't need to look at this, but I'm going to, if you are very new to this, I'm going to take the time to show you the things that you can do here so that it can help you to look at, to set it up. So while you see that here, it says log into ServiceNow as a system administrator, search for multi-provider SSO in the filter navigator. So when you come to ServiceNow here, you are going to search for multi-provider. Now, I have already done this, but when you set up the platform for the first when you set up the ServiceNow platform for the first time, you will not see the multi-provider SSO. No, it will not be there. So what you're going to do is that you have to search for plugins. So you go to plugins. Okay, so let me see if I still have my password here. Okay, perfect. And then I'll go in and put me admin and then log into it. Okay. All right, so here you are going to search for the, okay, you know what, you just have to go and then just copy this multi-provider, copy this, come here and then put it in the search bar, because I'm telling you, okay, so you see that nothing showed up. All right, So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the provider and then leave it like that. And it should be multiple providers. So multi, I have to add a tap everything there. So it's going to multiple, multiple. Perfect. So now when you scroll down a little bit, you're supposed to see, well, so this is what you are supposed to look for. So you look for integration multiple provider, right? So you have multiple provider single sign-on enhanced UI. So there are two. You also look for integration multiple provider single sign-on on installer. So you are going to install this one, and at the same time install this before you can see the multiple provider SSO. If you trust me, when I set up this environment, what happened was that I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't seeing the, what do we call it? When I type in the multi provider, I did not see it. So I have to go and then search for the plugin and then install it before I was able to see it. All right. So the next thing that you're going to do is that it says here, let me just show you so that it makes things more easier for you. It says that, and then select or elect identity providers. So we go here, we go to the application, and then we go to multi-provider, we go to identity providers. Great. So I've already set up some Okta earlier. So these are some the things that I already did. But when you set up the environment, this Okta here will not be there, but you see this token, that digested token, OIDC, and then SAML2 updater. So now let me take you back so that it can also help you. It says that when click on new, you are asked what kind of SSO you are trying to create or something. So you can then just go back here and then click here on the right here. You can click on a new. It is going to ask you, well, what kind of SSO are you trying to create? So you are going to select SAML. Perfect. So now you see that here it's asking you to enter the URL, that is import identity provider metadata. So the metadata is here in the Okta. So you are going to copy this. It also is also here in the SAML setup. So you can yeah, let's see where it is. So this is it. This is the logout one. The metadata, this is the metadata. You can copy from here, whatever you want. So then after that, you can then come here and then paste it in here and then import. Perfect. So now you see that you have the importation here. You are imported everything. The identity provider URL is here. Identity provider authentication request, everything is here. So now you see that identity provider single logout request. So when you do the test connection, what it's going to tell you is that what do we call it? The test connection is going to really pass. But first of all, you don't do the testing yet. You need to put up you need to put up this encryption key alias. So that is going to be SAML2 Now somebody's going to ask, so where did I get this? All right, when you come here, the step is say that signing encryption key alias set to SAML2. So I'm going to copy this. This is very simple. I'm going to copy this one here and then come in here and then paste it there. Boom. All right, then the next thing that you're going to do is go to user provisioning. Now here you're not going to do anything here, but just that you have to make sure that this one update user record upon each login. You have to make sure this one is always what do we call it, checked. The next thing you're going to do is go to advanced, and here advanced, it says the user field, you are going to type in user underscore name, right? Then it's here, you don't really do anything again. Apart from this, you don't really do anything again. So what you're going to do next is that you're going to save the page. So you right click on this screen on top here and then you click on save. Great, now you've saved it. So but here you can go ahead and then change the name of it. So this is going to be Okta ServiceNow testing. All right, great. So you have this. Then the next thing is that this is the single logout request. So whenever you are logging at there should be a URL that should be it, that should redirect you to the Okta interface so that you can it shows the logout. But here it did not come with the metadata. So how are you going to find this? You come back to your setup instructions and then you look for logout. So a single logout here, you copy this one also, and then you come back to here and then you paste it here. Then you go ahead and then you save this. Perfect. The next thing that you're going to do here is that you have to test for the connection. So you test the connection. Perfect. So it is normal to see this. It says that what user is not assigned to this application. So what it simply means that we have done the integration, everything has gone on successfully, but we were not able to do this to do the single sign-on. The reason is simple. The reason is that in Okta we have not assigned the ServiceNow application to the user, as in the administrator for the ServiceNow or the administrator for the ServiceNow. So what we're going to do now is that we need to go to Okta and then go to assignment. Now there are two ways of assigning application to a user. So here you can come to the application and then assign a user. So assign a user, assign to people. So you can assign a user here. So let's say I've logged in as Irene Chen. So I assign here and then I'll go ahead and then save and go back. Done. The other way, so now you see that here Irene Chen is now part of has been assigned to this part, to the ServiceNow app. The other way that you can assign Irene Chen to the ServiceNow application, let me close this, is that when you go to directory and then you go to people here, you can select Irene Chen and then Irene Chen here, then you go to as applications, and then we have here assign applications. So you click on assign applications and then you see that the ServiceNow application is here. I can click on it and then go to save and go back, and then we are done. Yes, so now you see that these are the applications for Irene Chen. Now let me warn you, what is happening here right now. Sometimes when you do the testing, it will not go through. Even though you assign the application to the user, or you can create a user and assign an application. Now, this is what some people don't know. I have already created a user, but here, if I have logged in here, because now when you come to my ServiceNow developer here, you see that here it is Irene Chen who have logged in. So Irene Chen is the one. Well, I decided to create it like just like that. So Irene Chen here is the one who is doing the integration. So that is the reason why I have to assign the ServiceNow application to Irene Chen. But if it was somebody else, if it was, let's say, a different person. So for example, let me say this. Let me go back to the Okta. Let's say it was, let's say, Joseph Stone. So if it was Joseph Stone who was doing the integration, right, who was doing all this integration, now what is going to happen is that if Joseph Stone want to assign the application to Irene Chen, what Joseph Stone has to do is that even though he will assign the application to Irene Chen, still the single sign-on is not going to work. If he try to do the testing, it's not going to work. What he got to do is that he needs to go and then, because now I'm done with this, right? Let me just duplicate this. Perfect. So now what Joseph Stone should do is to go and then create a new user in ServiceNow and then ping that user to Irene Chen in the Okta environment. So you go back to, I'm just going to show how you do that. So you go back here and then you look for user. So user is going to be sys_user.do. and then the user portal will open. So this is where you are going to create a new user. So you create this first name, last name, you don't do anything. So don't do company location. No. The only thing you're going to do is there's going to be the username, first name, and last name, and then the email. The next thing that you're going to do is that you're going to do the SSO source. Now, the SSO source, for example, let's say I created somebody. How are you going to get the SSO source? So you're going to get the SSO source by, let me take you back to the instructions. So when you go to the instructions here, it's going to tell you that it says that what, right click on the identity provider record and select copy sysid. Right, so when you read the whole thing, well, okay, yeah, it says from the field sidebar on the left, select and drag the SSO source field to the user, says add user, you save it, and then in the SSO field, type SSO, and then paste the sysid from the identity provider. So this is how you're going to do that. You will come here, and then you right click on this, and then you copy the sysid. Then when you come to your new user record, after filling the user ID, the first name, the last name, you come here and then you type in SSO, and then you bring in colon, and then you paste in the, I'm not going to do that. You paste in the sys ID. So this is what you're going to paste in the sys ID, right? This process, let me repeat it again. This process is if Joseph Stone was assigning the application to Irene Shen. If he created Irene Shen in Okta, then he has to come and create Irene Shen here also in ServiceNow before the integration works. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and then close this. So now we are going to go ahead and then test the connection. So let's test the connection. All right, we are in. So here, as you can see, yes, we are inside the ServiceNow portal. We are in. So that means that everything has worked. So let me just go ahead and then close this. You see that it did not ask me for any pass or anything like that. It just went straight up. All right. So I'll then go back here to my, now with this, okay, there's another thing that you have to do. I forgot. Normally if you do it and it doesn't go through, there's another thing that you need to do. That is, you need to go back to the dashboard, to the ServiceNow here, and then come to all. I think there's this already. So you come here and then you come and look for the you come and look for properties. So you come to the single stand identity providers here. You have to look for properties for administration, right? They are all other multi-provider. So you look for properties. So this is what you're not going to look for this one. You're going to look for properties for another administration, which is another federation, right? So properties, and then you come here. Now, whenever you come here, it will be like this. All these three things will be unchecked. Now here it is showing you, it says that what it is recommended to enable SSO account recovery. Don't do it. I'm not going to tell you the reason why, but don't do it. Just check enable multiple provider SSO and then just save it. And then after that, just go ahead and just mind your own business. Leave the rest to them. You are done with whatever you want to do. So you come back to TechBit. You come back to the Okta environment. Now you see that Irene Shen here now have the ServiceNow. So what we're going to do now here is we are going to log in into Irene Shen end user dashboard. So when you come here to the top here, is my end user dashboard. You can see here, let's wait. Okay, so now here you can see the ServiceNow UD, right? This is the other application that I've done. I've integrated into the Okta platform. But here is the ServiceNow UD. So when Irene Shen click on it, all right, perfecto. Why is it not showing it? Oh, hold on, let me see something here. Okay, perfect. All right. So you see that it did not ask for any password or anything. Easy. So that is how you do the ServiceNow integration. Is very, very simple. So hold on a minute. I think now